everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here. I know.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you? All right. Who's responsible here?
What's that?
Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
Yeah, haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay. Drive careful, okay?
Thank you.
This is with the other group that ran away.
Oh, really?
You just ditched it?
Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car and the other one.
It's truly for the win.
That I was given to. So there was 2 different discs. Okay? They all knew about it.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be in trouble.
Hello, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the transparency. Feeling so much better. Thank you for joining. Yesterday there was a hearing. It was interesting. We don't have a date. What else? I pulled up the hearing. I'm going to point out some things. I want to say thanks for all the kind words. So, yeah, feeling better. Well, let's see. First thing I thought was interesting was right here. Let's play.
That is one
That's
of
why
the
this is a
things
federal
that
case.
has delayed setting trial. Not that
Bill
it's
Thompson was
so far away. Now,
Bill Thompson was asked
Substantial is an understatement.
right here.
motions about the grand jury procedures, also the issues about the investigative genetic genealogy issues, and I'm kind of curious, okay, when do you think that you will be completely finished with providing discovery to the defense?
Judge, most current projection that we have would probably be at the end of this summer. The majority of the discovery has been provided.
All right, so there you have it. At the end of this summer. Well, they wanted to have a trial at the beginning of this summer. So, you know, I'm sorry, but you just have to kind of do what I just did there and fall back and laugh. You wanted a trial this summer. But now you're telling the judge and the world that we're not going to have all the discovery till the end of the summer. So that was the first thing that, what? How is it? How is everything not there? Like, even if you wait till the end of August, that means you have March, April, May, June, July, and August. You have 6 more months to gather things and then get it on over before the deadline, which they're asking for basically at the end of August. So that's number one. So they have 6 more months,
That's not to say that Mr. Koberger has been able to, and his defense team been able to digest it all, because it is substantial as an understatement. We are still awaiting information that the defense both wants and needs to have, and we're going back through all of the discovery to make sure that nothing's been overlooked. We have 2 members of our team, an attorney and a legal assistant, who are essentially assigned full time to that task. And that's projected, and we got from them. It could be up to 6 months, which would put us with initial discovery completion at the end of August, 1st of September of this year.
Because last time you were talking about August for the trial.
Sure enough. And that's what we had hoped for. And when we filed our motion.
So at least Judge caught on to that. Give him some props there. Now, this is where I think Judge kind of goes when Ann Taylor starts talking about the stuff that like she doesn't have. For example,
Suggest the court direct the jury questionnaires.
okay, so he did all of his like the scheduling. Put it out the field.
Ms. Taylor, so if things aren't going perfectly,
I'm running on pure adrenaline.
They said, oh, well, I guess we just didn't get that. Something didn't
Right here.
by the agencies and the information he gets from them. I can give you some examples.
Bill's getting jerked.
We asked for x-rays. We were told they don't exist.
Okay.
They're listed.
Right there. We were told, so Ann Taylor says, we asked for the x-rays from the autopsies. Okay, this is kind of in my header tonight, which is, she's like, I can give you some examples of things that we asked for, and then they say, we don't have them. They don't exist. Okay. And one of those things being the 4 x-rays from the autopsies being done. And I'm guessing that there's 4 because there's 4 victims. I don't think there would just be 1. I think that there'd be 4, but I could be wrong.
Repeatedly in reports. We asked for them again. And I'm not sure if I'm getting them or not. The response is we have thumbnails, but we haven't found the actual x-rays. There's one example. I asked for certain mapping data done by a member of the CAS team. They said, you have it all. I said, no, I don't. I only have November 29th. They said, oh, well, I guess we just didn't get that. Something didn't copy right. And I'm not saying anything mean about Bill.
On November 29th, there was some cast done. So if you guys want to take and write this down, November 29th, 2022, what seems like they were already working with, cast. So she mentions that. She gives us a little hint there. So I went ahead and wrote down November 29th, 2022 as a date, added that to my timeline.
Or his office. I'm saying this is really difficult to drag the information out and get it to my experts or to understand it. And to hear that we're going to have a discovery deadline by the end of August is great. I need to have every piece of everything. I then have to have time to double check and make sure I really got it. I need to have time.
I want to back up just a little bit more here.
Those pretrial motions,
Right there.
Discovery. I need the things that we've asked for. I need to not have to fight in motions to compel for things that was done on behalf of the state by the FBI that ends up being used against Brian or used in the investigation. I need that stuff. I need, when I ask for something, I need to get it rather than have to go back and ask and ask and ask again. And I'm not saying anything mean about Bill Thompson. I'm just not. I think he tries his very best, but I think he's hampered by the agencies and the information he gets from them.
Okay. So basically what Ann's saying, in my opinion, is that Bill Thompson has to get stuff from Moscow Police Department, FBI, Latah County Sheriff's Department, Pullman, Pennsylvania. Who else was on this case? ISP. There's all these agencies involved, and getting everything, he gets it, and then he has to give it to her. A lot of agencies involved, but I want to go back to the whole beginning of, like, you arrested Brian Kober way back when, and how are we to the point that we are right now, and we're talking about discovery issues that we don't have everything. Let me show you an example. An example is, for me, is dealing with the Shanna Gardner case out of Florida, hired for hitman Jared Brannigan. The state turned over all the discovery. They arrested her estranged husband and her, and there was a hired hitman involved. But even after the hitman had told them the names and everything like that, they just didn't go out and arrest, those two people, meaning her and him. That was like a 6 months to 7 months, waiting point. With that said, I don't understand how all of this stuff wouldn't be in the hands of Ann Taylor already. If you're arresting somebody, this is what you're using to arrest them. Then I think that's where the issue lies for me is, and the judge he totally gets confused here when they're talking about these cast reports, because he's asking Ann Taylor, well, aren't you still waiting for a video? And she's like, well, no, I mean, I am waiting for partial parts of that video, but the cast report, that's where, like, they're saying that Brian's driving all over. That's what we're waiting for. We don't have that. And he is like, what? So I look at these cases, and it's just like, you arrest this man because you have all this stuff, and you need a discovery deadline in August. So you need 6 more months to, like, gather everything. That doesn't gather what? What? I mean, I get it. Ann Taylor, I would want a deadline to be at the end of this month. You know what I mean? Get that discovery deadline, because after that point, there is no more exchanging. But I just, how do we not have what y'all arrested me off of? And thing with the people that did the cast report was how you was totally in the search warrant and totally in the arrest warrant for me, if I'm Brian Kober, right? And that's what Ann Taylor's arguing, that she doesn't even have that report.
I can give you some examples.
Bill's getting jerked.
We asked for x-rays. We were told they don't exist. They're listed repeatedly in reports. We asked for them again. And I'm not sure if I'm getting them or not. The response is, we have thumbnails, but we haven't found the actual x-rays. There's one example. I asked for certain mapping data done by a member of the cast team. They said,
now we're going to talk about the x-rays. Okay. So when you get these x-rays done, you're normally getting these done, if there's an explosion, if there's guns involved, if there's sharp object involved, to see. So Ann wants the x-rays, in my opinion, to see Is it multiple weapons? Is it multiple weapons? Is it consistent with being the same weapon? Isn't that why she would ask for the x-rays? They don't exist. They don't exist. Now they may exist. We don't even know if they exist. I don't know.
You have it all. I said, no, I don't. I only have November 29th. And they said, oh, well, I guess we just didn't get that. Something didn't copy right. And I'm not saying anything mean about Bill or his office. I'm saying this is really difficult to drag the information out and get it to my experts or to understand it. And to hear that we're going to have a discovery deadline by the end of August is great. I need to have every piece of everything.
Right. So let's say you're going through discovery and you're looking at body cam footage and you're writing down all these names that are people that are in the house or whatever that have body cams. And then you're checking it off, and you come across a person. Oh, wait, because you see them in somebody else's body cam. And you're like, oh, that person was there. So then you write their name down. Hey, we need to get this person's body cam. Okay. So I'm just trying to show you that as an example of when you're going through stuff and you're writing down what you would need, and then you're asking them for it, and then they say, well, that doesn't exist. So think about this. Think about if I do a FOIA request and someone tells me that something like that doesn't exist. Well, I'm going to ask for it again, maybe a different way. But whatever they use to make their case, that's, here you go. But I don't understand how you would need until the end of August to get everything that's 5%. 5%. He says we have about 5% left to get. What are you talking? Why aren't we talking about like what it actually is? What it actually is. What don't you have? Or rather, Bill Thompson, what do you think that they don't have that you have that you think that they should have? I mean, we get it. We get it. The name Brian Kohlberger, guys, it came from the FBI. We understand this, right? And it came from the FBI because they did the IGG work. And that's how the name Brian Kohlberger came up. The name Brian Kohlberger means that it did not come up anywhere else. Okay, that's where it came from. Why do I think this? Because of their answers. And then what's really interesting, and I don't think they're going to win, is when she says, we'll just read the letter that the FBI wrote. That's a summary. That's like saying, here's a report that I wrote about my interview with somebody. Okay, that's great. Here's your report. That's like a summary of your report. I still have to investigate your work. Okay. And then it's basically, I'm going to press play and listen to the 3-hour interview that you did to this person that you wrote into 3 pages. Okay, I'm going to watch those 3 hours and see what I see. You know what I mean? Versus, okay, we're just supposed to trust you. We're just supposed to trust. Oh, fuck, no, we don't. I mean, it's not that I don't trust you. I still have to do my due diligence. And that's what Anne's saying. Like, I have to do my job. And my job isn't your summary of your report. My job is you're going to give me and we're going to do our own. We have our investigators. We're going to do our shit. And so that's what basically Anne's argument was with, you just want our investigators to read your little fucking letter, your report. No. That's a summary. It's a summary of your work. That's what that letter is.
Then have to have time to double check and make sure I really got it. I need to have time to get it to my experts and for them to have an opportunity to understand how that impacts their opinions, if at all. So to have that to the state, I think they said by September, October.
Sensitive about this. I did read the ABA supplementary guidelines for mitigation function of defense teams in death penalty cases. And
We should be in good shape by
Of what impacts publicity, for example, is having on our actual jury pool. We know there's publicity. Everybody can agree. There's been massive publicity, not just in Latah County, but I see more about it in Boise or hear about it from other parts of the state than what we're seeing locally. And so the massive.
You see more about it in Boise, okay? Because Boise's more populated and there's more coverage in Boise. Okay, that's why you see it more in Boise, because of your news coverage. Like, you're watching the news, where do you think it's out of? Like, come on, Bill. That's just craziness. So at the end of all of this shenanigans here, they're going to have this hearing that's going to be, we're going to have a hearing, and you're going to present why you think that this should be moved, a change of venue. And April 14th, but I want to back up and talk about the cast issues.
completed. I think reserved, and a lot of people really waiting until the court has heard the information, more than affidavits saying there's mass amount of media coverage.
I was looking at this patent case, which that's court of appeals, but to both sides and
Discovery deadlines through the litigation process. Defense, unless there's video that shows it
right here
to that, will mean that I will be back asking the court to reopen it. My expert can't finish until I get the rest of the discovery as well.
And the discovery you're talking about is the video of the car?
No.
Okay. He asks, you need a video of the car. He reads every motion. I mean, he's reading the stuff. When he says that you need a video of the car, I'm like, he doesn't know what they're still waiting for. And she's like, no, it's not what I'm waiting for. What I'm waiting for is this.
What do you?
So the video that we talk about is one that I think the state's going to use in its case that I don't have full video on, that I'm not talking about any video of Brian's car. When I'm talking about an alibi defense, unless there's video that shows it elsewhere that I haven't gotten to yet, which may be possible given the fact that there's a lot I haven't seen yet. What I'm talking about though is the cast report, the drive testing information.
Cast report meaning the identification of the particular car.
What?
That is the cell tower information. So
you guys, please help me, because I was sick yesterday, but I went back and I watched it again this morning. Has he never done a case where he doesn't understand. It's in the report. It's in the motions. The cast is in the probable cause. The cast is so heavily used in the probable cause to parade Brian's car all over fucking town. Okay, remember?
What that is going to show, and what the drive testing data is going to show, and what other reports relate case that I don't have full video on, that I'm not talking about any video of Brian's car. When I'm talking about an alibi defense, unless there's video that shows it elsewhere that I haven't gotten to yet, which may be possible given the fact that there's a lot I haven't seen yet. What I'm talking about though is the cast report, the drive testing information.
Task report meaning the,
This-
identification of the particular car.
That is the cell tower
Oh, okay. I'm
information.
with you.
So what that is going to show and what the drive testing data.
Okay. How does she not have the cast report? And now people could say, well, and this is what the prosecution got up and said. They're like, well, this defeats the whole purpose of an alibi, blah, blah, blah. What, like, if you have an alibi, you just have an alibi. It doesn't matter what the fuck we have. Well, I'm going to give you an example of why I think if I don't trust y'all, okay, and I tell you guys where I was or what I was doing, all right, and before you're even going to give me what you have, at the end of the day, I mean, I could say something so off the wall that I was off doing X, Y, and Z, but I don't already trust you, and I have trust issues, right? So you want me to just tell you where I was, but you guys already arrested me, and you guys are claiming off of this cast report that you arrested me. And that's in the probable cause. How do I not have that? Okay, I don't need to give you, like, shit right now. Like, fuck, they could say, like, we don't have an alibi. Brian doesn't have, I don't believe that Brian has an alibi as she stated it. I'm going to use your own experts. I'm going to use on cross-examination and then who we have. Because you're putting Brian somewhere, right? And Brian's saying he's out driving, but Brian's saying where'd you go that night? Well, fuck, how often does he get to go driving all the time on that night? You know what I mean? Like, because remember, he wasn't asked this question, like, where were you? He's asked this question eight weeks later. Think about it. If you didn't do anything, if you didn't kill anybody, right? That night to you, I mean, what did you do on the 12th of November of 2022, y'all? Everybody out there. I couldn't tell you what I did on the 12th of November 2022. So, but this, she's saying she doesn't have. He doesn't know what cast is.
Is going to show, and what other reports related to that are going to be things that my expert needs to finish our investigation and things that I need to formulate my cross-examination against the state's expert. So when I'm telling you that I'm going to do those things in alibi, I can't tell you more than that right now, but that's how we're going to support Brian's alibi, that he was out driving that.
Okay, so you're saying that you have not received the cell tower reports?
I have some data, some cell tower data, some phone record data. I have a draft of a cast report. The most recent information I have cast is the FBI doing their work. The most recent information I have is that on March 31st, they expect for that report to be done through the peer review process. So I may get it a month from now. I need to get it to my expert to digest. There's materials that support their report that I don't have full disclosure of. And the state's aware of it. I think they're working on it. And maybe they're on that drive that I'll pick up today, but I haven't had them yet.
So you expect to get that in mid-March?
I expect to get their report after March 31st, after it's done.
So this report is still going through a process of being vetted. Y'all understand that? Like, so I guess I'm so fucking, like, that was such a huge part of him being like, oh yeah, look at, he's driving all around. Look at this where he is now. This is where he is. And it matches with the two times that we see the car at 2:44 and then at 5:36 on the night. Like, that report, I don't understand. I don't understand how this much time has gone by and that report isn't done, but that report was used in the probable cause to arrest him. Do you see where, like, does that just mean that it has to just be, oh, it's good enough? I mean, look, you can kind of track it a little bit. Yeah, it's in that vicinity, but for us to, like, totally narrow down and blah, 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 but read the probable cause. The cast is all over that motherfucker. It's all over it. And so I have no, I'm unclear why Anne's not even saying that right now. Like, this was a report that they used to arrest my client, and I don't have it. I have a draft.
The supporting data, I'm not sure when it's coming. They tell me it's coming.
Okay, I'm gonna kick it back to the stage.
Your Honor, I guess I'm a little confused because if
Well, I am, obviously I'm too, so.
okay,
Okay, he's confused. She's confused.
I'm confused because if the defendant's alibi is that he was out driving around that night, I'm not sure what additional information his cell data could add to an actual alibi defense. It seems like what the defense is asking for, and they're being completely upfront about it, and I appreciate that. But what they're asking to do is essentially double check all the discovery before disclosing their alibi, and that's not what the purpose of an alibi deadline is. In fact, it's quite the opposite. There is case law that describes that given the ease with which an individual could fabricate an alibi, and certainly that's not what the state is accusing the defendant of doing. I'm using language that is in case law, though. Given the ease with which an individual could fabricate an alibi, that is a very legitimate deadline. It's a reasonable deadline.
That's all great. I understand that. Like, but at the end of the day, like, Brian, he could say he's wherever the hell he would say he's at, but if there's nothing to corroborate that, they're going to be using his data in some capacity. But how about this? That's what you used to arrest him. So where is it? And y'all still haven't produced it. So, but I understand that. Like, we're not gonna. My whole thing is that should have already been in if you're turning over stuff. If you're turning over the discovery, if you're turning stuff over, that should have already been turned over. So to say that this defeats the whole purpose of an alibi, no, in the probable cause, you're saying that Brian is an X, Y, and Z based on your cast shit. Well, the cast stuff that we have is some draft, and it's not even complete, and there's no supporting data with it that they're saying we're going to get at some other point in time. So I just, whatever, go round and round. Basically, the way that I look at all of this is that the DNA is going to be what Brian Culver is. I mean, that's why he was arrested. That's how they were able to match the DNA at the crime scene. Is after they arrested him, they then took his swab to then compare it. So then that's how they got comparison. So if they weren't able to arrest him, they would have never gotten his DNA to then compare that to that the swab, like the sheath, right? So they can say they're going back and forth, and it's like, whew, woo. I don't know. You would think that a report that you used to arrest somebody would already be turned over, but Judge wants to do it, which I think is the right way, which is, hey, we're going to have this hearing to decide. He already cited a case where they went ahead and they dismissed it and then dismissed it again. They denied it, the change of venue, and they denied it again right before trial. He already kind of hinted of a case like that. So, I mean, for fuck's sake. If the cast report shows that he was in another area using cellular resources, not even close where Payne said he was, that will be his alibi. AT said the testimony from experts would be his alibi. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what she said that she's going to be using is cross-examination and like their own witnesses against themselves. So, what else from it? I just can't believe that 5% of the discovery is all that needs to be turned over, and it's going to take 6 months to get 5% in. Again, I don't think there's anything to it as far as the X-rays go. And Taylor was using that as an example to say that we've asked for stuff. They said that it doesn't exist. Then we asked for it again, doesn't exist, and now all of a sudden, oh, here it is. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that we had this. So, her talking about the X-rays, and that was just something that just had happened recently. But X-rays will show you, especially in something like this with stabbings. I would think that those X-rays would be important before the autopsy was conducted, because you're going to cut somebody open. So, Deja Vu, 11-month membership, look out, woo, woo. I think my personal opinion is the only evidence that they have against Brian Kober is the evidence as far as is the sheath with the DNA on it. That's the evidence that they have. And yeah, a couple people said that they noticed that Kopaka Kober slipped through it. I know that Annie Potts is one of those people. I thought that was funny. I still feel like that they use the IGG information to 100% arrest Brian Kober, because that's how you got to Brian Kober. So I don't understand how people can't see that. Just like if I called in the tip line and I said that so-and-so said this to me and like I would then be subject in discovery for being on the tip line. And somebody could come and ask me questions about it, right? I mean, I don't know how you can say that you didn't use that you didn't take something from the crime scene to then use to formulate your tip, your lead. I've had debates with a couple different people in law enforcement about it. And I think the best way for me to explain it to people is that normally you're not using the IGG resources until way later in an investigation. In here, you chose to use it right off the rip, in a sense. And so, why did you do that? What made you, like, who contacted who? Because everywhere that I've ever been, the FBI has to be asked to come in. So the FBI go to Moscow Police Department, go to Idaho State Police, or did they go to the FBI? How did the FBI get involved with being the ones to do the IGG? And then I just have I look at the FBI. It's just another source of it's the police. Okay, it's a government. It's government, and so think about if another local police department, they're the ones that gave you the tip to then investigate, a certain person, like all of that stuff would be, you'd have to talk about that. You'd have to show all that. You'd have to say why this person, you gave this type of a lead. Why did you give this tip up? How did you, what all it was entailed with that? Like, because everything that I've seen and everyone that I've talked to with the IGG stuff, it's like, there's no way that you're just giving up one name. You may have said there may be a family. You may have said there may be a handful, like a bunch. So, but to give up one name to say Brian Kohlberger, I heard that's really unheard of. And I think that Anne was arguing, like, I think she made a great point, and people don't want to see it, then that's up to them. But Anne said, no, you've already determined that this is material. You've already wrote it in a order when you said that you deemed that the IGG is not only relevant, it's material. It's material. And that's what she was oral arguing. And I think people miss that. Is when he was talking about, well, the state's not even going to be using this. Well, no shit, the state's not going to use it. But that doesn't mean that it's not material. It doesn't mean that it's not relevant. The state doesn't use half of the shit when you're talking about cases like this, cases that are questionable, thrown on the up and up. Or when you have tunnel vision or whatever. You know how much discovery there are in cases and you don't use any, you use probably like 5% of it. So I don't know. I could go through a discovery and point out a whole bunch of other things, and then somebody else, I guess, could go through and say, okay, yeah, no, but this, if you go this route, it could lead to this person. Okay. Even if the state doesn't use it, doesn't mean it's not entitled to it. Yeah, 100. And we also found out yesterday that they appealed to the Supreme Court. We didn't know that. That's been under wraps. So, I think it's hilarious that Bill Thompson says at the end of August to get the discovery in, but he wanted to have a summer. They're going to go ahead and set the trial date for, March or April, and then it's going to get pushed back to the summer of 2025. And I guess I don't understand what Judge doesn't get about this. I mean, if he would be like, I don't know what he can and can't do in terms of like, talking about anything, but death penalty cases take a long time. So why Judge is just up there saying, well, why can't we get this pony on the show? Like, what the hell's going on here? I'm just like thinking to myself, like, this is like normal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. He thinks that this should start like, tomorrow. And I know everybody wants, like, he should be, of all people, should know that it shouldn't, all of us could say, like, yeah, we want this trial to be tomorrow, but he says he only wants one go at it. Well, then do it right. Start laying out these deadlines, and because if you truly think about it, next summer really isn't that far away. It really isn't, because then you bring up the other stuff, like you have to have all these agencies. All these people are going to have to be coming in and being witnesses, and this is going to be like I'm telling you, it's going to be a 16-week trial. Think about especially at the rate that these fucking people work easily. But I don't understand why he just thinks that it should just be whoop, whoop, whoop. Bill Thompson doesn't have all the discussion and says that he won't have it all until the end of August. I don't know, like, what the hell do you have that you haven't turned over that you need 6 months and you have 2 people working on it? Like, what is there? You understand that's a lot. Think about what you do for 6 months in your job, and this is the only thing you had to do was to get this discovery over. That's almost equivalent to like, and then she's saying we're gonna play 52 card pickup with, now put in 100,000 decks. And I'm telling you, I went through an ISP discovery. You know how many things aren't like, okay, here, there's only two body cams in this one discovery I'm doing. 2 body cams. You had nine or 10 of you motherfuckers there. Nobody else had body cam. A cover up takes a long time, like fine wine. I mean, cover up or no cover up, it doesn't. I mean, it is everything. It is what it is, I think it's hilarious that, and the judge called him out. The judge called Bill out and said, "You wanted to have a trial this coming summer." He was like ready to go, and he's like, "Well, we can have everything to and by the end of August." And he calls him out and he says, "Weren't you just here to talk about how this trial could happen this past summer?" Yeah, but it's just all this discovery. So, I mean, I don't know. Let's see. What else do I got here? Oh, shit, that's right. Okay. In other news, let's see. I have to write a figure. I don't have an application. I think people are looking way too much into the whole alibi thing. I mean, the guy says he was out driving. He doesn't say he's out, he's sleeping. So he's out driving. He drives around a lot. But we're going to use what y'all said against yourselves, basically. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. And then they're saying that we shouldn't have a deadline if they don't have a deadline. And it's like, well, you guys already arrested this man. What are you trying to get? Like, what else do you need? But shouldn't that tell y'all something? I think it tells me a lot, but yeah, I thought it was interesting. She was talking about like the driving, whatever's on his car. All the research I did, there's nothing you're gonna find on that car. I couldn't find anything that was like tracking those type of cars. I don't know. I became an Elantra expert over the summer last year. You keep getting booted. I know the internet's been whatever AT&T's up to. AT&T's up to some shit, guys. Look into whatever AT&T's been doing. But AT&T's been ruining everybody's internets. AT&T, what are you guys doing over there? Damn. Too bad they didn't have that dang cast report. Yeah. I care about the time. I care about the time of the crime. I care about the data that's on all those phones. When did those phones stop working? When did those phones stop being used? Remember, this went from everybody was sleeping in the house, and remember they were all sleeping and they were killed. Remember my butt coming out here and saying that to everybody? I don't know if she was told to say that. I don't know if she just said it. But it went from everybody was sleeping to that's nothing what it was like. I don't know. I don't know what Brian Culver is thinking. All I know is, doesn't this teach us all, like, do not waive our right to a speedy trial. Go to court right away. I mean, how could anybody prosecute anybody with this? Like, I'm not waiving my right to a speedy trial. Fuck no, let's go. Discovery deadline, boom, let's go. Okay, perfect. I mean, I was screaming to do that. I was screaming from the rooftops to do that. There's no way you can prosecute this case. It's unfortunate that your lawyers talk you out of that, though. They say that I can't defend you like that. Well, fucking defend yourself. But I'm being serious. Like, no, like I don't want to waive my right to a speedy trial. Like, let's go. But think about that. Think about if he wouldn't have waived his right to a speedy trial. I would say, lawyer, you work for me. Put it in. We're not waiving our right to my speedy trial, and let's go. And it looks like you're gonna have to hire some more investigators with your public defender ass. Like, let's go. I don't know. How could anything be prosecuted if people weren't waiving their rights? But see, that's why the system all is in a big old circle. Everybody works for each other in that system. And when you put something into the criminal justice system and you leave it in the system that's how everybody makes money. Sad but true. Did you guys hear about that? I put it on my community page. The Amish, there was a 23-year-old Amish woman that got, a suspicious death out of Erie, Pennsylvania. Like, nobody's covering it. Have you guys heard anything about it? Yeah, hit that thumbs up, hit that thumbs down. You got an opinion, make yourself known. I would have never waived my rights. No. Nope. Yes, yeah, I shared it on my page, and I was going to look into it just because nobody's talking about it. And no one's going to talk about it because the Amish aren't going to talk. What the fuck is going on? Oh, my computer is just totally froze up. Testing. Can you guys hear me now? Jesus, what is going on? Yes, I heard about that. It's hard to sit the Amish. They don't do social media. Is this working again? Fucking A, man. Loud and clear. I don't know what's going on over here. Being taken down. Good, good, good. Yes, yes. Yeah, here, I'll show you. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Here
To the
you go.
latest on a murder mystery in Amish country after a pregnant 23-year-old was found dead inside her own home. Stephanie Ramos is in Spartanburg, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Stephanie.
Michael, good morning. Right now, investigators have no suspects in custody for the killing of that young Amish woman here in her home in northwestern Pennsylvania. This murder leaving a community stunned and scared.
This morning, an urgent search underway for the killer who took the life of 23-year-old Rebecca Byler in Amish country.
This is a criminal homicide investigation. Keep your doors locked.
The tight-knit community of Spartanburg, Pennsylvania on edge after the pregnant mother of two was found murdered inside her home Monday afternoon. Authorities now completing her autopsy, but not revealing any details about how she died, except that it was suspicious. Charlene Hyatt works at a pharmacy that serves the Amish who live in this town.
Everyone's just been stunned because things like this just don't happen around here. It's kind of scary and frustrating.
The community, extremely rural and religious, is removed from the mainstream world, shunning most modern technology and relying on horse and buggy. But family members telling our ABC affiliate WJET they saw a red Jeep in Rebecca's driveway around 10 a.m. the day she died. WJET also reporting Byler's two young children were home when her body was discovered, and that her husband reportedly was not there during the time of the murder, arriving home to discover her body. Experts say in these kinds of communities, homicides are rare.
The Amish are a peace church. They have a strong cultural imperative not to get involved in violence.
State police is asking the public for help in trying to find whoever did this. Michael.
All right, thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin.
All right. Just wanted to show you guys that. But yeah. Wasn't there a movie about the murder? Yep. It was with Harrison Ford. It was called Harrison Ford was in that movie. Witness. There it is. Yeah. And the winner is Jen. Yeah. Yeah, so what we're waiting for is we're going to have a little hearing, and they're going to decide if they're going to be moving the trial to a different area. They're also going to be waiting to hear from the Supreme Court. They put in something to the Supreme Court. We don't have any of that stuff. Otherwise, I would show you guys. And yeah, we're looking at a 2025 trial. No way before it. So before I close out this live, I am going to show you guys a never seen before, heard from before clip. Body cam. If this this stuff is working after we just totally went frozen. I don't think it's going to do. No, it's not. I'll just put it out there as a video. I don't know what's going on tonight. So with that, it'll be a wrap, guys. I do appreciate you on your way out. Thumbs it up, thumbs it down. You got an opinion, make yourself known. Thank you, mods. Thank you, members. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you guys so much.